So recently I listened to a podcast that involved a company called IP Info, and it was on a SaaS-based podcast. I think, forget the name of the host. The founder of the company stumbled into this product idea. The IP Info core concept was a little API that unveiled more information about a certain IP address that you were visiting. I think the founder of it initially shared it on Stack Overflow and provided answers to some questions people were having about having issues with dealing with trying to find more information about IP addresses. And all this is to say that in the end, this product idea, he didn't even know it was a product to begin with. He was giving it away for free, and eventually it led to being like a multi-million-dollar a year company that's just rolling in money at this point. But I think it's funny, you hear stories about this, and most developer maker stories, we all want this to be real, that kind of concept where you almost do no marketing, no work, and suddenly you're a millionaire because you made this sweet app or API or something that everyone's interested in and just wants to get a hold of. And that happens to very few, unfortunately. So I did a blog post recently about marketing for developers and makers and kind of the struggles with it. And personally, I've had many of these attempts to build things. You build the thing and you think everyone will love it, and it turns out no one's even caring about it or needs it, for instance. That's a common pitfall of most makers, I think, is we all want to go straight to building. In some cases that works. I don't know. At this point, and everyone says you should get your audience first. It's all audience and content and marketing and do that and then build the product. And I think that's true for the most part, but I don't think it's the only way. Sometimes you see an absolute need and hear from people in communities or just comments, whatever. You see the actual pain and you know of a solution that could probably work. And at that point, you probably want to scaffold something quick and present it to them individually and see what they think, just to save yourself time, save you're spending months building something. But oftentimes you can build a real prototype that's looks good, functions, and does what the value ask is, and go from there. So I don't think this mantra of only building once you have this specific ask from a person is a real valid effort. I don't know how to describe it, but everyone always says your customers should tell you what you should build, and I think that's not so true. I don't know, but basically this post, I'm just summarizing it in this video. I'd really recommend go reading it, but the idea is to really grow and market yourself as a developer, or whatever service you're offering, is to actually provide real value to people without being spammy or something. So you need to build that trust. I've done it with this channel. You put out content constantly, and the more you do it, the more for free, of course, the more people kind of start to identify with you and kind of build this relationship with you. And that's something that's just a human thing. It's a weird thing that it's psychological, and it is part of the sales process in a way. So once the time comes, you have some sort of offering you want to offer people, or people you are interested in offering service to, or whatever it is, course, SaaS based business, something like that, or even a physical product. You can actually identify with them, and they'll take your word for it more often than someone just off the street. So that's kind of the approach. The sad thing is that's a very long game to play. I've been doing this blog for 3 years at this point. I think even almost 4. And I don't really have a business angle to it. I made a course. I've made some paid content, but mostly everything's free, and it's mostly just me learning in public. Maybe there'll be something someday. I don't have plans. Maybe the blog will be the business. I have no idea, but it's just one of those things where if you don't kind of put yourself out there and share something of value, you really won't even get hit the ground running. So content in that case is always king, whether it's just a blog post, which is sadly becoming old school, or new influencer stuff like video or I don't know, using crazy TikTok crap. I don't know. I'm not a fan, but stuff like that is becoming more of the way businesses are approaching getting new customers, I think. So building that content, that media outlet is the way in these days. And you can't just put up a landing page anymore, run ads to it, and get people to just, automatically fall in love with your product. It's just not there anymore. People are just have been through that like pursuit before and probably have ended up in a bad spot, like being told this is the product for them, and in reality it's not. And they purchase something and have regrets, all those things. So it kind of leaves an impression on them to not put trust into something like that later on. So this little guide is just like tips from stuff I've learned. If I were myself 3 or 2 years ago, I'd put more effort into learning sales. Not that I do a lot of sales, but it is something that is more of a psychological component to this whole process. Like if you're in the business of the internet and you want to sell software of some sort, you need to eventually talk to someone to get them to maybe interested in it or want to try it out and then get their feedback. So more often than not, sales is just like a process of like understanding more about your own product. So what people like, what they don't like, why they wouldn't want to actually purchase it, stuff like that comes out. And you don't get that just by putting up a landing page and a price and hoping people will come. It's like fishing or something, It's just not as good of a way to produce results. So aside from sales, I would also try, if I was starting over again, I'd maybe niche down even more. So a lot of my content's around like Ruby on Rails, but while that's a cool niche, it's not really a scalable one. Like if I go further, basically the only people I could maybe make a few dollars off of if I wanted to, which might be you, is like offering another course or something, or more tutorials that are premium paid or something like that. And I don't know if that's for me. I don't think that's the business I want to run. There's already platforms out there doing Rails tutorials and stuff. I don't need to compete with that. This is again more of my outlet of a blog. So I'm just kind of being more open like about what my thoughts are with this video and vlog stuff. So take it for what it is. But this is kind of my approach, is to like really niche down, definitely provide value. Consider marketing, just as important as building the product if you're going to build products. And then also just providing the most value as you can to whoever it is you're targeting. So you really need to consider who you're targeting and like narrow in on them. Go where they are. Be in their community, be like a fly on the wall. You don't need to spam your service left and right. You'll get banned. Like you have to actually just be in the community, see what's working, see what isn't, and then kind of decipher the messages in between. If you want to extend your network, maybe consider partnering or networking with other, channels or blogs or something like that, or other SaaS providers. So not that this is a great example, but I recently published a video on another YouTube channel that was for a Rails like introductory little like starter course, I guess you could say. And it was cool. It brought a lot of traffic over to my channel, and I learned a lot from their comments on that channel. So it's just kind of a neat thing to try. But you could do something like that, or become a partner with another application if you're running a SaaS app or something. And then, just be real about it all. Just be open, maybe like this, or consider just documenting your journey. A lot of people are building in public now. I think that's a big trend, and I don't know if building in public's like novel anymore. It's neat to see, but everyone's got something they're working on, and do you have to build in public? I don't think so, but I kind of like to go against the grain with that. So who knows what's preferred there. And then at the end of the day, just be more of a person a real person with the people that might be following you or your current customers or something like that. If you come across as just fake or sketchy or something, they're not going to trust you, and they're not going to buy from you. So you have to consider that. So all these little talking points are kind of jumbled, but I really wrapped this up better in a blog post format. So I'd really check that out on the blog. It's going to be linked below in the description. So check that out. And that's all for now. So I'll see you guys next time.